Hey folks, Colin here from Sumthins Recording, and welcome back to mixing a song from start to finish. Today we are tackling the bass guitar. We're going to be mixing the bass guitar for this song today, but before we dive in, if you are ready to go a little bit deeper into the mixing process in its entirety and really start to hone your workflow as an engineer, then I have just the thing for you. It is my 7-step mixing checklist, and it's just a simple PDF that will walk you through the entire mixing process step by step to help you get professional and radio-ready mixes without any more of the hassle and without any more of the guesswork. It is a completely free guide, and you can download it below using the link in the video description. Now let's jump in here and start tackling this bass guitar here. So we have the drums up and running for the song here. I might do a couple tweaks to the drums in this video, but we're mainly going to try and get the bass guitar set in with our drums so far here. So let me hit play and see if we need to tweak our drums at all here for this song. Here we go. And I'm gonna go back down here. Like I mentioned in the previous video, sometimes I like to mix at a quieter volume. That's again why I have the limiter in place here. Just so I'm hearing things at a lower volume, it helps me get my balances better sometimes. And we'll flip back to mono for a moment. That's feeling pretty good there for the drums. So I'm going to open up the bass here. I believe we talked about in the setup video the split I have going on the bass. So the DI here, and then we have the amp track. The DI is just the low end for the bass guitar. So everything below 180 hertz, and that's a 24 dB per octave slope. And then our amp track is everything above 180 hertz. And again, that's a 24 dB per octave slope. So we don't have too much in the crossover, and we don't have any phase issues in the bottom end because our bottom end is only coming from one source, and that's the DI. So both of these tracks are working together to give us one bass sound. Let's start pulling this up here. Cool, the first thing we're going to start with here is EQ, of course. I'm going to get a high pass in place here to make sure there's not too much going on down below where I want the fundamental of the bass guitar. So probably around 80s where I want the fundamental. Let's get high pass in effect right below there. I put a little cut here in the low mids to it, 180. It was feeling a little boxy there around the 200 mark. It felt like it was starting to get in that headache frequency. And I want to get rid of that, clean that up, makes a little bit more room for the low end here. I'm going to get my compressor in next, and then maybe boost a little bit of the high mids to get some finger noise and to help it cut through in the mix. So we're going to go to the loudest section for the bass guitar, which seems to be right here, and that's where we're going to set our compressor up. You can see I'm doing about 5 dB of compression here on the louder section of the bass guitar here. So it's going to hold some of those peaks down, those bigger hits. It's going to hold those in place and help to bring up some of the smaller hits here. I love using this 1176 style compressor on bass guitar, the FET Comp Studio one. We're at about 0.55 milliseconds for the attack. So on the slower side for this unit, but still pretty quick in general. And then a 50 millisecond release. So as fast as possible for this unit. And then doing 5 dB of compression on those bigger peaks. We are at 4:1 on the ratio as well. So the gentlest for that unit, but still kind of an aggressive ratio there. Now I want to go back and see about maybe boosting some top end. So this right here, that's kind of that mean frequency in the mid-range. That's going to help it sit really nicely with any kind of electric guitars you have, or keys too. It'll help it kind of poke out in the middle of the keys there. And then maybe we'll go up higher for finger noise. Right there's that top end finger noise and that top end brightness that I want in the bass guitar. So you can see I put an EQ here on the master bus or the main fader, and I wanted to isolate just the bottom end below 100 hertz and see how my bottom end was meshing with our bass guitar and the kick drum. I bumped the bass down just a touch from there, just from listening there, and it feels like things are pretty good here now. So let's listen one more time. Yeah, that's feeling pretty good. That's a great starting point. Obviously, again, we're going to tweak these things as we move through, as we get our guitar, our keys, our vocals in. All these things will have to be tweaked slightly so everything meshes together, not just the bass and the drums. Last thing, we'll throw the tambourine in here and make sure this is okay. So for tambourine, I usually have a pretty simple two plugin process. I like to use this Neve style EQ, the vintage EQ in Studio One. I'm going to go to 220 here and pull that all the way down on the shelf. That's wiping out all of that low end we don't need. And then I'm going to go to about 3K here and boost this. This is that tambourine frequency that you want to hear in the mix. Hear it? That's that identifiable tambourine frequency that you're going to hear as it sits really nicely with the snare. Let's do a little bit of compression on it. Not too much. We don't add any kind of distortion or anything. Just a touch of compression to hold it evenly throughout the mix here, and then we'll line it in with our snare drum. Just 3 dB compression. We'll pull it down here, balance it in with our drums and bass. That's feeling really good on the tambourine. So quick review here. When you're mixing your bass to sit it in with the drums, get your level kind of set, pull in your EQ, make sure there's not too much sub information down below the fundamental, clean up any low mid area, then do your compression. 5 dB of compression on a FET comp, really, really nice on bass guitar. Then do your additive EQ. So top end for fret noise and finger noise, and then bottom end post compression to make sure it doesn't push too hard into the compressor. I hope that was helpful for you. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, if you're ready to take your mixes to the next level and really start dialing in your workflow as an engineer, then I have just the tool for you, and it is completely free. It is my 7-step mixing checklist, and you can download it below to start creating more professional mixes in less time. Thank you so much for watching today, and I will see you in the next video.